Welcome to Friday in the isolation station. If you, like me, are quarantined in your own home, I hope you're finding new and inventive ways to keep yourself amused, learning tricks on the yo-yo, learning to whistle, maybe learning a language, maybe speaking to loved ones. I don't know. Here's some wrestling headlines. A top WWE star could potentially miss WrestleMania. Plans for AEW going forward have been revealed. And which former WWE star could be about to debut with AAA? Find out soon. So the ever-changing beast that is WrestleMania 36 moves ever closer. A two-day spectacle across multiple venues, now we understand. But despite the fact that we're finally getting some purchase on what WrestleMania is going to look like this year, we could potentially lose one of the top stars from it. It has emerged that Brock Lesnar could potentially, and I'm adding the word potentially with a capital potentialer, miss WrestleMania 36. Now, this is due to travel bans brought in by Justin Trudeau of Canada. As a result of these travel bans, it means that unessential travel between Canada and the United States for the time being is cancelled. Now, Brock Lesnar, whilst he is from Minneapolis, Minnesota, he has himself a beautiful farm with his wife, Rena Mero, in Saskatchewan in Canada. And if he's currently on his farm, that could present a problem. Now, we haven't had any news from WWE regarding the status of Brock Lesnar for WrestleMania, so we're just kind of putting this out there as a school of thought. We already know that this Canadian travel ban has affected WrestleMania. Bobby Roode tweeted a lot of emojis that kind of told the story of how he's feeling right now. Not so glorious. Bobby Roode, who was essentially going to be part of WrestleMania in a six-man tag, now cannot get into the country. Robert Roode is in Canada, and this travel ban seemingly affects him, if the tweet is anything to go by. So could Brock Lesnar be in the same situation? I guess we're going to find out in the coming days if that is the case. This is devastating for Drew McIntyre on so many levels. Like, this was going to be the big moment that Drew had after all this time to finally cut through and become the man in WWE. Okay, no crowd at WrestleMania. All right, that's kind of not what I was hoping for, but there you go. Oh, no Brock Lesnar either. Oh, that's great. I guess you could just hand me the belt. This is a very, very weird time in professional wrestling. WrestleMania very much continues to hang in the balance. When we know more about the situation regarding Brock Lesnar, of course, you will know more as well. So plans have been revealed for AEW Dynamite going forward now. They had a belter of a show on Wednesday in an empty arena. They somehow put on the best wrestling show of the last couple of weeks. I loved it. Some great promos backstage, two amazing debuts for the company as well. And it looks like this could be the plan going forward. AEW have said they're going to be taping Dynamite from Daly's Place in Florida for the foreseeable. Now, Daly's Place has shut down all sporting events as a result of the current pandemic. However, because it's a closed set, AEW are permitted to continue to use it, and they shall. They're taking a lot of precautions in terms of who uses the set at one time. A lot of people waiting around in the parking lot at Daly's Place before they come in. There's constant health checks going on as well. If people want to warm up in the ring, they're sending them through in bursts, so there's no people, not too many people crossing over at the same time. So a lot of precautions are being made by AEW to keep their roster safe. It's very handy that they've got a place like Daly's Place where they can continue to put on wrestling shows. In a time where all the sports events around the world are being suspended, it seems like professional wrestling continues to buck the trend. WWE will continue as far as we know, all the way up until WrestleMania and probably beyond. And AEW will do so as well. We will see wrestling companies become a little bit more creative in the process as well, which I'm really really excited by. Like, I want to see these wrestling companies thinking outside the box if they're doing empty arena shows. We know that WWE put on quite a cringy performance in terms of live matches in front of nobody. AEW kind of started to find the sides with it a bit by putting some of the wrestlers at ringside to make a bit of crowd noise. Glenn Gilberti, Ross and I's friend, he wasn't a big fan of Don't You Forget About Keith, but give the disco his due, he had a cracking idea to suggest that maybe, what if wrestlers have corner men going forward, or corner people going forward rather, whereby when the wrestlers are wrestling, you've got people making noise, because I think that's the thing that we need, is noise to be made. And it's either that or Jerry Lawler's suggestion of piping in crowd noise. And I don't know if crowd noise in an empty arena is going to work. If you want to see crowd noise, or rather hear crowd noise done badly, and I know I'm going off on a tangent here, you have downtime, which I think we all do at the moment, check out the Team Challenge series on the WWE Network. That is a great example of why piped in crowd noise is a terrible idea. So that's how it stands for AEW Dynamite, but what about Double or Nothing? This was the big anniversary show that AEW were building to that was going to be coming out of the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. Well, we weren't sure, they hadn't mentioned anything about it. However, the MGM in Las Vegas has said that they are looking to start events once again mid-May. In fact, they are adamant that come the middle of May, they're going to start getting back to normal in Vegas. So that means that that's a good sign for AEW, which is on at the end of May for Double or Nothing. So if you have tickets to Double or Nothing, hold fire and cross all things. Now, if you, like me and many others, are currently staring at the same four walls until this whole thing blows over, you probably want something to watch on the television, don't you? Fret not, right? Because the timing of this is beautiful. Coming in April to Netflix, 2 brand new wrestling TV series. Oh, do you know what? We need it more than ever. The Big Show has a confirmed release date for April. It'll be rolled out in April on Netflix. This is the Big Show sitcom. I've got to pull up the description for the Big Show because I, for one, am excited about it. It's dropping on April the 6th, by the way. The Big Show features former WWE wrestler The Big Show out of the ring and ready for an even tougher challenge, raising 3 daughters with his wife in Florida. What kind of wacky things are gonna happen there? The other show that is happening is the main event, and here's the synopsis for the main event. After discovering a magical mask, an 11-year-old aspiring wrestler enters a competition to become the next WWE superstar. That lands on April the 10th, sort of a happy mix of the mask and the life and times of Rey Mysterio. So if you are needing some new wrestling content, Netflix is your hookup next month. And finally, you missed it, haven't you? Sin Cara is coming to the end of his no-compete clause with WWE. He put out on Twitter a few months ago saying that he was ready to leave. He wanted to be released from his contract and head out into the great wide world. And WWE eventually went, yeah, all right, you can go. He's coming to the end of his time where he can't work for anybody else. And it looks as if he could be heading not just across the indie circuit, but to AAA as well. And he will no longer be known as Sin Cara, because obviously that is a WWE intellectual property. But he's going to be going under the name as Cinta de Oro, which is the name of an El Paso Juarez-based star from the 90s, Sergio Aguirre, who helped Jorge Arias, the artist formerly known as Sin Cara, get started in the industry. So it's an homage to the man who got him into the business altogether. Intrigued to see Jorge Arias back in a wrestling ring. I think that I think we talked about this in the news, and I think, do you know what, most wrestling outlets are also very guilty of this. But because there's been like multiple versions of Sin Cara, we kind of just decide Sin Cara's the wrestler that botches. Oh, but it's this isn't. It's all areas kind of being tarred with the same brush. At least I think so. I've been inside for 4 days. I don't know nothing anymore. So once all this blows over, and it will blow over, intrigued to see Jorge Arias, formerly Sin Cara, back on the independent circuit doing what he loves. Very intrigued to see what comes next. So there's your news then. What are your plans for this weekend, Adam? Oh yeah, I forgot. We're not together anymore, are we? Hello, darkness, my old friend. If you miss Adam Pacitti, he'll be live streaming tonight on the Cultaholic YouTube channel. You can watch him playing a random selection of wrestling video games over there. And if you need something wrestling based to occupy your mind at the moment, why not? And I'm going to give it a cheap plug, as nobody's here to tell me not to. Subscribe to the Cultaholic podcast feed, daily wrestling news updates, as well as special interviews with wrestlers from all around the world. We do a wonderful series called Desert Island Graps, where we ask wrestlers for their 3 favourite wrestling matches. Plus, myself and Matthew will look back on old episodes of SmackDown on the Cultaholic Classic SmackDown review. Justin Henry, one of our head pens here at Cultaholic, he and I watch old episodes of Raw on the Cultaholic Classic Raw review, and there's little radio documentaries and wrestling documentaries that we drop on the podcast feed all the time. Right, I think I've given that a cheap enough plug. Oh yeah, what are you going to do? Tell me not to? Nobody's here. I'm all on my own here in purgatory. Send help, or maybe crisps. Love you, bye.